Good evening, everyone. I'm Viola Holmes, dietitian and certified diabetes care and education specialist. Happy New Year to everyone. So, tonight we're going to talk about something that's pretty popular and common this time of year. A lot of people set goals to lose weight, or they set New Year's resolutions to lose weight. And if you're one of those people, I want to share with you some things to be aware of when you're thinking about changing how you're eating or you're looking for a diet to follow. And I have to tell you, nutritionists or dietitians, we really like to stay away from that word diet because it often, diets are something that people tend to go on. And then what do you do with your diet? Then you go off of it. So you might want to think about if you're looking for a new approach as a healthy eating approach or an eating plan, because we want it to be about long term, not going on this diet to lose 10 pounds, then I can go off of it. So I'm going to share with you some slides about some of those things to look out for, as well as some things that you want to incorporate into your plan. So how to spot, we call them fad diets, a fad diet. Um, they typically promise, like magic. It's like a magic bullet. Take this, drink this formula twice a day, and you can eat anything that you want to, and you'll magically lose the weight. Have 4 of these shakes a day, or take a couple of these pills before you eat, and it's like a magic bullet. You'll lose weight. You don't have to do anything else. You can continue to eat everything that you normally have. Just take these supplements. And the diet and weight loss industry, it's $1 billion industry. I mean, some of the things we can kind of, common sense you look at or you hear about and you think, I know that doesn't work. But you'd be surprised how these products really appeal to people. So, if you're hearing colleagues in the workplace or people at church or, someone at home talk about this new weight loss product they've gotten, stay away from it. It's a fad. Always think about the change as something that you can sustain. Are you going to drink that drink twice a day, every day for the rest of your life to be able to maintain that weight loss? Are you going to take those pills forever? Most likely not. Those things we call quick fixes. And they promise a rapid weight loss. Take this and you'll lose, 30 pounds this month, or you can lose 10 pounds a week. That's a lot of weight loss. A healthy weight loss is like 1 to 2 pounds per week. And for a lot of people, I know hearing 1 to 2 pounds a week sounds like nothing. But we, again, want this to be sustainable. Think about it. If you lose a pound a week, every week over the course of a year, that's about a 50-pound weight loss. So that it becomes significant at a certain point. And when you lose, 1 to 2 pounds a week, sometimes you haven't had to put in a whole lot of work to get that weight loss and then to maintain it. When you get these products with this rapid weight loss too, often it's the first weight that you lose, it's like fluid. So you're kind of, flushing your body of fluids, you're dehydrating yourself. And sometimes then the next thing is that you really start losing some muscle mass because it's a kind of a quick fix, maybe lower calorie, and activity is not a part of the plan. So you're not, building muscle as you're losing the weight, which is another important point. A healthy weight loss plan should incorporate some type of activity to help as well. If it's a plan that, says that there's a magic fat burning effect in a certain food, stay away from it. I'm sure you may remember, some of you remember the grapefruit diet, which was really popular. Just have grapefruit and you can lose lots of weight, or the cabbage soup diet. And it's true. If you eat, grapefruit or only cabbage soup for 2 or 3 meals a day, you're going to lose weight. But there's no magic in that grapefruit or in the cabbage or in that particular item. It's just because it's so low in calories. So you've cut down on calories significantly to lose the weight. So there's no magic in supplements. There's no magic in pills. There's no magic in a particular food. And some of these plans promote limiting foods or avoiding certain foods or food groups altogether. And when I say that, I really think about, some of the popular eating plans now, like the Atkins, high protein, low carbohydrate diet, or even keto, which is really the one that people ask me questions about the most these days. Well, what do you think about a keto? Or I want to follow a keto diet. Can you give me a plan for a keto diet? And really, a lot of times when people say they're following a keto diet, when I talk to them, I find out really what they're doing is following an Atkins, a high protein diet. But whichever one of those plans, it's really focusing on one type of food. And so you're leaving out a lot of other things. For, the keto, it really focuses on protein, but also fat, having a higher fat intake. And if you're not doing that diet correctly, you could really, mess up the balance of how you're eating. So again, that type of plan, particularly for someone who has diabetes, and it is a strategy that people sometimes need for medical purposes. And for epilepsy, a keto diet is the key. But it's a medical type of diet that now people are putting into quick fix weight loss plans, which we really want to stay away from. And so again, plans that promote one type of food or all raw food, right? There's the popular raw food diet or whole food raw food. So it's saying that you can only have uncooked vegetables. Maybe you don't want raw vegetables all the time, particularly in the winter, this time of year. Sometimes there's just not as much taste in those raw veggies. But if a plan forces you to think that way, then it's being restrictive because, again, you can have them cooked in different ways, or you can have raw food. You want to have a combination. And then there are always those plans, and we see people like maybe Beyonce in an ad for some type of body cleanse or some type of detox that helps lose weight. And we have a tendency to want to put money into those kinds of products because of that celebrity story that we see behind that product. So be aware of that as well. And also those plans that really focus on appearance rather than health benefits. We want to, if weight loss is a goal, it should be about health and not just how you look and, I can fit into this size again, that kind of thing. And if the plan is selling some type of supplement, if you're checking in every week with a counselor or somebody and they're giving you different mixes, we need to change your supplement blend this week so that you'll lose more weight. Those kinds of things are really gimmicky and they're not working. Okay? So stay away from plans like that. And so now the next slide I'll show you is what you want to look for, some sound nutrition guidance for weight loss. Remember, you're not at the weight that you're at now overnight. And so you're not going to lose weight overnight. It's a process. And again, think about the long term and maybe, break it up into smaller chunks, over, 1 month. We usually say small goals works well. The first month, the goal may be that 1 to 2 pounds per week. So over the course of that month, it may be 4 to 8 pound weight loss. That's significant. And it takes work. We all know, losing 4 pounds is not easy. It takes an eating strategy as well as some activity to do that. And one of the best ways to really tune into how you're eating is to keep a diary so that you can become aware of what you're eating. There's some great apps out there that can help you. Something like MyFitnessPal, it's a great app for any and everybody. Usually, most of my clients tend to like that one. It helps you, you can scan with your phone the labels on products if you're using products with labels, and you can just enter your serving size of that product. It has every restaurant pretty much that you can name if you're eating out. So think about a way, or a good old paper and pencil diary. And a plan I'm thinking of a plan now like Weight Watchers. It's a big focus of Weight Watchers is their app and the tracking of the food. And that's a sound plan. They have, really good nutrition plans for just overall health for weight loss, or if you have diabetes or metabolic condition, they have some plans for that as well. I think it's called Working on Wellness now. Sorry, not Weight Watchers. But the premise, if you've done it before, is based on tracking, which we know works. Monitoring some aspects of your behaviors help you become aware, and it helps you problem solve when you see what areas you really need to work on. So your plan should include monitoring your behavior. And we know from the weight loss registries that what works for people who lose the most weight and keep the weight off is that they avoid skipping meals, that they start having breakfast, and they maintain that habit of eating breakfast and having meals at set times. So if you're, kind of hopping all over the place with your eating and you really don't have a consistent schedule or plan, a good foundation to lay is to start working on having meals at set times. And just because I say breakfast, some people are like, oh, I really don't like breakfast food. It doesn't have to be breakfast food at that meal. It can be whatever it is that you enjoy, in the right size and the right amounts and in the right, you know, composition of nutrients that we want you to have. So typically we say you want to break that fast between 1 to 2 hours of waking up, and then eat regular. And we usually say no more than about 4 hours between eating. So if you can have a meal around that 4 hour mark, the idea is to plan in some type of snacks that would work. So think about what pattern would work for you, and figure out how you can stick to a consistent pattern for eating that's going to help your appetite, and help with your weight to be consistent with your eating. Things that are high in fiber and water help to fill you up, and so that you can reduce your calories of those things that are more fatty and maybe not the most healthful things. So things that are high in fiber are fruit, or vegetables, and like whole grains, so whole wheat bread instead of a white bread sometimes. I'm not saying you have to do it for every meal, but how can you make some higher fat choices? And, good old water or sugar-free beverages, give you that water content, and just vegetables and fruit to have a lot of water in them. Choosing things that are lower in fat, so instead of the fried food, having baked or grilled or sauteed. And again, not saying all the time, but once you keep that food diary, you'll see, well, how often are fried foods in my diet? Maybe it's, fried meat a couple times a week, but also there's some like fried potatoes and other kinds of fried items in there as well. So, just by switching from frying to baking, you can cut down on about 100 calories or more, maybe. A pound of weight is 3,500 calories. So if we think about a 1 pound weight loss per week, a 7-day week, that means you want to reduce your calories by about 500 per day. And I don't want you to take that whole 500 out of your meals, because you'd be like, oh, this isn't enough food. But the idea is a combination of eating less and being more active, so that if you can get around that 500 calorie deficit per day, you can lose a pound a week. Okay, so think about just small ways. Again, if you look at 2 products in the store, the one that you typically would get, maybe it's 300 calories a serving. And then you find one that's a little bit better. It's, maybe it's 220 calories per serving. You've still, saved 80 calories. And the goal is, again, about a 250 calorie reduction in food and a 250 calorie expenditure in activity. So it can add up. If you can use some type of light margarine instead of butter, you're going to cut down maybe 50 calories. If you can switch from, a full fat salad dressing to a light salad dressing, again, that could be another 40 or 50 calories. So just these little things can add up along the way by cutting down on your fat and filling up on vegetables and fruit, and trying to have those, fruit for dessert, and just incorporating it more than some of those higher fat sweets that we may want to have. Watch portion sizes. It's a real simple thing, portion control, but it works. I've seen people not even change anything that they're eating. They still have their fried chicken, they still have their beans seasoned with some things that maybe I wouldn't recommend, but they have less of it. And they consistently have less of those foods, and they consistently lose weight and improve their health because they've cut down on those calories. So that might be, a simple strategy for some people, just to watch portions first. And after weight plateaus from watching those portions, it may be about next step, changing some of the foods up a little bit more. Okay. And I've already mentioned activity several times, but the next point, to get active, and the goal is at least 30 minutes of activity, 5 days a week. And ideally for weight loss, we want to continue to increase that, but start with a realistic goal again. It's all about being realistic and building up from there. For the activity as well as for the eating changes, you really need some support too. And I think that's why, working on wellness or Weight Watchers has been such a successful program throughout the years, because it has a great support network built into it. So, if you have friends or family or somebody who wants to engage in being healthier with you, engage with them, so that, you'll have that support piece in place. There are lots of online communities for support with making healthy changes. So figure out a strategy that will help you, um, make the changes that you need to make. And then be realistic again with how much weight. It's We're not going for, a lot of weight quickly, but it's a small amount over the long term. And that can help reduce your risk of disease. It's all about health and wellness, really. And having weight loss is the goal for the right reasons, and finding a strategy that works for you. So think about what you're doing, and again, make it healthy, realistic, and do set those small goals along the way to help you. Okay, so we can take those slides down, and I'm happy to, if you ever have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions, or provide other ideas for you for healthy eating. So for this week, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And take care. God bless. Stay healthy and be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.